Good morning, students. So let's continue with RUP model, that is Rational Unified Process Model. So we have done all the traditional models. Then we have done is a V process model, RAD model. Now it's Rational Unified Process Model. Why this came into existence is because customer wants the working software to be delivered very quickly, and prior to this RAD came, which delivers a working iteration in 60 to 90 days. Now we will see that it is more rapid and it is going to deliver the cycle in approximately 45 days. So we are in turn reducing the time it takes to deliver a particular iteration. Now this RUP model is again based on iterative approach. Then only we can deliver the working iteration in a rapid way. So the software is always developed in increments or in iterations. This model is given by IBM, right? Whenever you will find the name Rational is a term relevant to IBM. IBM has a software division known as Rational Software Corporation, right, which was established in 2003, and it has given us the Rational Unified Process Model, right? Then second important thing for RUP model is it is based on UML language, Unified Modeling Language. That means ultimately you are going to model. So UML is nothing, it is a visual representation of your system with different viewpoints and perspectives. Apart from that, the third you can say the important factor of RUP model is it is going to use several tools. IBM has given us tools with the name Rational, like we have RAD, RSA, like Rational Functional Test, right? So many a tool set is there which IBM has given, and we totally like depend or use these tools to deliver your product in a lesser time. Apart from this, what happens in RUP model is we have phases and we have workflows. Two things are there. Like in the previous model, we just have seen the phases only, but here we have two distinct activities, you can say. The first one is a phases. It has 4 phases. Along with this, it has 9 workflows. Workflows is nothing, they are the activities of software development, and these two are different, right? Phases are different while workflows are different. Now we'll see how the working is being carried out in RUP model. Now another important factor is the 3 perspective, which makes it, like you can say, a very good model to be adapted. Like IBM is using this model even now also, right? So what are these 3 perspective or the viewpoint of this angle, or you can say this model? First one is a dynamic perspective, static perspective, and practice perspective. So what do you mean by dynamic perspective is that the phases, I talk about 4 phases: inception, elaboration, construction, and transition. These phases iterate over a span of time. That means inception, elaboration, construction, transition, then again repeating these phases: inception, elaboration, construction, and transition. So these phases are iterated over a span of time. This is what is meant by dynamic perspective. Well, what is static perspective? Is says that the process activities, that means what are process activities? The workflows, right? SDLC activity, normally you can say, they are iterated in themselves. I'll show it with the help of a diagram. What does it mean? So just understand it this way. All these 4 phases are iterated, they are repeating over a span of time. So this is your dynamic perspective. While within a phase, there are those 9 workflows or activities that are working. Here also 9 activities are working. Here also 9 activities are working. Here also 9 activities are working. So these 9 activities are also iterated. So see, since iteration is good, we are using iteration in 2 ways. One is this dynamic perspective, where all the 4 phases are repeating or iterating, while second way of iteration is this, where the activities in a phase is getting iterated. So since iteration is good, we are using it in two different ways. Ultimately it will give us more benefit. That is why rapid delivery is achieved using RUP model. So this is what static and dynamic perspective. And what is practice perspective? Practice perspective means that what all are the good practices that we have learned from the previous models are present in this model. All the good practices we means is iterative approach, incremental approach, visually model your software, like diagrammatic representation, then you have requirement change management. We'll see in the next slide that practice perspective means simply while studying the previous model, we must have summarized that these are good things that must be adopted so that you deliver a quality product in less time and less cost and your customer is satisfied. So those good practices, right, are present in this model. So ultimately customer will be satisfied and you will be delivering a quality product in less time and less cost. So this is what the basic features of a RUP model is. It is iterative in nature, given by IBM. It has 4 phases and 9 activities, right? It uses tools and it is based on UML. It has 3 perspectives. Now what is a UML? UML is Unified Modeling Language, which is nothing which gives a clearly communicate requirement, architecture and design. Ultimately it is a diagrammatic way of representing your system and you can communicate your requirements, architecture and design in a better way than writing that in a textual form. So no one is going to read that text and understand it, but once you make a diagram, it is better understandable and you can communicate your things better to the customers or the end users or the development team members, right? So that is what Unified Modeling Language will do. These UML diagrams in the designing phase. We'll be doing many object oriented diagrams which are UML based, like use case, sequence, class diagram, activity diagram, process diagram, collaboration, deployment, state transition. So we will be doing it. Just an introduction as of now. We have so many diagrams in this category. Then we use tools. Tools are nothing which are like they are SDLC tools or the case tools, computer aided software engineering tools for different activities like visual modeling, programming and testing. We have tools for each of this activity. We use the tool, human errors are reduced, time is also reduced and we get a quality product in turn. So here we'll be using rational tools since it is given by IBM, right? We have a RSA and RFT tool. Then configurable process means we can configure it, we can adapt to the changes, like we can use our process for a small purpose also, or we can scale up to large organization, development organization also. So the process in such a way it is applicable to a smaller set of organization as well as larger organizations also. So ultimately it's a good model. So this is what the representation is. We have 4 phases: inception, elaboration, construction and transition. What does inception means? Inception is simply when a problem comes in, right? Inception of the problem, right? So what all activities carried out, that will be carried in this inception phase. Second is elaboration. Okay, you got the problem statement, now you need to elaborate it. Elaborate means have a proper understanding of your system. Elaborate it. You have the problem statement, now identify in order to achieve that task what all set of activities are required. Like you are supposed to prepare a result management system, right? For result management system, what all things are required? You must have admission process in place, then the regular classes must be conducted, examination must be conducted, then evaluation and then result. So you'll identify what all you can say modules are required to achieve that major functionality. To elaborate on the requirements part only. Construction is something we say that designing, coding and testing is interleaved here. That means they are carried out in a combined way, right? We don't have different phases for that. Construction means designing, coding and testing are carried all together and we call it by the name construction, right? Then transition is something when you test it, you have tested it, now you deploy it to the customer. That means it gets transit from developer's environment to customer or end user's environment. So it comes under operational phase and then maintenance is called for, right? So that is transition from one environment to the another one. So you have seen that I am saying ki inception is when the problem comes in. That means we are working on the requirement phase. Elaboration, we are elaborating the problem itself. Again the requirement is carried out here. Design, coding and testing is a part relevant to construction, while transition is when you are deploying it to the customer and maintenance is called for. But here is a very, like you can say, two things are important here. One is like I'm saying ki inception is relevant to your requirements, but to make it clear, I said earlier that in each and every phase all the 9 activities are iterated. That means 9 activities are present here, but what is the difference is requirement is carried out in a, you can say, detailed way, while the other activities of software development are least carried out in inception. So the major stress or effort is given to the requirements, while least effort is given to any other activity. While in the elaboration also requirement is carried out in the maximum way, while other is designing, coding, testing, implementation and maintenance are carried out in a least way. If it is construction, that means requirement is least, while design, coding and testing is given the maximum effort, while transition means the other activities like requirement, designing, coding and testing are carried out in a minimum way, while implementation and maintenance is carried out in a maximum way. So I hope this is clear. Understand it properly. All the 9 activities are present in each phase, but what is the difference is effort of each and every activity is different in different phases. In inception, effort of requirement phase is more, requirement activity is more, while others are carried out in a least way. Even elaboration, requirement is carried out in a maximum way, others are least. Here requirement is least, but design, coding and testing is maximum. Here requirement, design, coding and testing is least, while implementation and maintenance is more. This can be more elaborated. I'll give you one more diagram here. This is the effort distribution of these activity. If I say inception, so in the inception this requirement related task is carried out in a maximum way. You can see this maximum is for business modeling and requirement modeling, right? While in the elaboration, right, what is more, elaboration mein these requirements are elaborated, it's not zero. See, we are elaborating our problem. Analysis also related to your you can say requirements only, requirement analysis. So requirement analysis, so requirement related task is maximum. Now in the implementation we gradually keep on increasing here, right? So this is showing that inception, how these activities, these are actually the 9 workflows which are represented here, how much effort is given to these workflows in a particular phase. In inception, modeling is more, requirement is more, analysis we start, implementation least, deployment least, these are least present, right? During elaboration, business modeling fine, requirement is also there, right? Analysis is carried out in a maximum way, but starting with this implementation, deployment is less and all these are less. Well, if we talk about construction, least, less, what is major thing which is carried out here is implementation and test, right? Testing is also carried out. Since it's less as compared to the implementation, implementation here means coding. Why testing is less? Because we are using the tools, right? When we are working on the tools, then it's obvious that the errors will be less. So less amount of testing is carried out than rather than doing it in the other ways while not using the tools. Then in the transition, these are less. Deployment, yes. Then configuration and change management. Once the software is delivered, you need changes due to one or the other reason, that is what is represented here. Project management is required. So this is how effort is distributed. In inception phase, how these activities are carried out, how much effort is given. Elaboration, the effort is represented, right? So this is what I was telling you here is all the 9 activities are carried out in a phase, but the effort distribution is different, right? So iteration, 2 ways. So phases are iterated, activities are iterated. This is your dynamic perspective, this is your static perspective. ये भी static है, this is also static, and this is also static. So in 2 different ways we are using iterations here, so ultimately we will get more benefit, hence the time is reduced for delivering a particular iteration. Clear with this? So inception is establishing the business cases, right? We have use case. Similarly, we prepare the business case diagram here. Business cases are nothing, they are the business requirements. Elaboration is developing an understanding of the problem domain and the system architecture is developed here. Construction is designing, coding and testing, while transition is deploy the system in its operational environment, and hence after that maintenance is called for. So these are your 4 phases. Now iterations, I have told you, done in 2 ways. One is in phase iteration, that which is representing the static perspective, while cross phase iteration, which is representing the dynamic perspective, right? Then what are these 9 workflows? Now this is important. Workflows are nothing, they are the activities present in your RUP model. Among these 9 workflows, the first 6 workflows are the core workflows, right, which is relevant to your development, while the later 3 are the supporting workflows which are related to non-phased activity, right? These are the phased activity, core one, with the help of which you develop the software, while supporting ones are the project management, configuration management and the environment, which is going to support these activities, right? So what are these? The first one is your business modeling. We're talking about the core workflows first of all. So the business process are modeled using business use cases. Use cases are the functions or the requirements. Second one is a requirement. So you can see it is in a sequence. The first one is a business modeling, then requirement analysis, designing, implementation. Remember, in the previous model we have seen implementation was after testing. That installation is known as implementation. But in RUP model, implementation represents the coding, right? The name used here, the nomenclature for coding is implementation, right? So requirement, the actors who interact with the system are identified and use cases are developed to model the system requirement. So ultimately we prepare the use case diagram. For the use case diagram, you need to identify the actors. Actors means the person, you can say, or the users who are going to use your system. Use cases are the functionalities, right? I'm not elaborating this diagram as of now, we'll be doing it later on, right? We'll see it. Just understand we have a use case diagram which is prepared here. We just identified your requirements and the actors who will be using those requirements. Like students will be using in a library, searching a book, return a book, issue a book, right? While if I say admin can create a record, delete a record, right? Librarian similarly will help in creation also, will help in deletion also, will help in getting the book issued also and returning also. So actors are the persons or the system who will be using our system, and the functionalities of that particular system are the use cases, right? So this is what we need to identify the use case. So you can see that it is a modeling language. UML is used in RUP, right? It's a modeling framework. So here we prepare business use case diagram, here we prepare simple use case diagram. Likewise, we will be preparing architectural model, component model, object, sequence, so many models for analysis and designing is prepared here. Implementation may again modeling based, we'll be using automated code generation tools and we are going to generate the code from these tool itself. You're not going to write the code again. You are simply going to prepare the design, click on the button generate code and the code will be itself generated. So the process will be accelerated. You will not waste your time in writing the code, which takes lot much of effort and time. The next workflow is a testing. Again, for the testing we use RFT. I have told you, rational functional test. Again, it's a tool for testing your application. It is generated using the code generation tool and then tested using again another tool, right? So again it will be an effective one. Deployment is what? After testing. See the name change. Implementation is prior to testing, that is coding. Deployment is when you deliver it to the customer for use, right? That is installation. So the product release is created, distributed to the user and installed in their workplace, right? So these were your 6 core workflows: business modeling, requirement analysis and design, implementation, testing and deployment. Now talking about the later 3, which are the supporting workflows. The first one is configuration and change management. So configuration and change management is, you have to manage the changes in your software, right? Now and then requirements keeps on changing, you have to update the document. Now what is, I'll simply tell you, like you have a particular document, say SRS released in your software, and initially the version is 1.0. Now someone made a change to this document, right? And it is a minor change. The next version is version 1.1. Again someone got the change which is a major change, will name it as version 2.0. So maintaining these changes, that means these changes are carried out in a smooth way and it's updated, right? This is configuration and change management, right? Project management is, I have told you, software project management is the umbrella activity of SDLC which spans the overall software development. So a task in project management is to plan all the activities properly, and once the activities start we have to continuously monitor and control them. So 2 major activity of project management is planning and then monitoring and control, so which is carried out in this RUB model. Then environment is using the tool. Tool is a case environment. Like you can see environment, I'll give you a good example here. We write the C program in an environment, right? Environment I mean is either you use a Turbo C environment for that or code blocks. So what are these two? These are the coding environment for C language, in which several tools are integrated. Let's talk about Turbo C. So Turbo C is a case environment or a coding environment in which tools like editor, compiler and debugger, 3 tools are integrated. Editor, where you write the code, right? Compiler, when you compile it, right? So compiler is there, and as soon as you compile it, it gives you the error messages if any error is present. That means debugger is playing a role. It is debugging your statement line by line and identifying the error. So these tools are integrated, the coding tools are integrated in a environment. So likewise here we'll be using the environment. That means for different activities of software development we have different tools which are integrated in an environment and they work together to achieve the entire functionality. Fine with this? Like project ID is also a project environment, integrated development environment where different activities of software development are integrated. So these are the 9 workflows which makes this RUP model a good one. Then this is what we have seen, the effort distribution of the activities. Now the last one is the practice perspective. Perspective, you have seen that all the good practices, mainly they are 6. So 6 good practices are present in this model. Now what are these good practices? First one is developed software iteratively. So we have seen that in iterations you must develop your software. So in iterations we develop the one which is most prior, we develop in the first iteration, and likewise we keep asking the customer to prioritize and we keep on developing in different iterations and deliver it. Then manage requirement. Now at least you got an idea, configuration and change management, requirements keep on changing. So you can keep track of these changes by making different versions and update it smoothly with a change management process in place. Third one is use component based architecture. Now what do you mean by component based architecture is where we develop the components which are reusable in nature. Let's take an example. Say you require a login page in different applications you are developing. So say you prepare 10 softwares, and in all the 10 softwares or the application, that authentication is required. Authentication is simply verifying the credential of the user. If the user is authentic, then only he is allowed to use your software, else he is not allowed to use it, right? So when I'm developing this login page in one application, why I'm going to develop again and again in another 9 application? I can simply develop it once, and it can be reused in other applications by importing there. So that is what component based architecture must be used. You must make the components which are reusable in nature. It can be used at different locations in the same project, or it can be used in different projects also. Then visually modeled software. Visually modeled software means always use a diagrammatic approach to understand your system. So we know that we are going to use UML model here, right? A number of models will be used to represent your system, understand your system and work upon, right? So these models are used, right? Verify software quality. Ensure that the software meets organizational quality standards. See, quality is most important, right? Quality is achieved when the non-functional requirements which are applicable to your system is fulfilled. Like if I say banking softwares, if they are secured, then we'll say it is a quality product. Though all the functionalities are working properly, but security is compromised, we'll never say it's a quality product, right? So quality are the non-functional requirements that leads to your quality. So you must ensure that all the quality standards, non-functional requirements, rules and regulation needs to be adopted, which is used in this model. And the last one is control changes to your software. Control changes means that though we know that in SRS we make the changes now and then. Now designers can also make the change, coders can make the change in SRS, analysts can also make the change. Now let's assume that everyone is making a change in their private copy of that document, but others are not known to it. They are using the previous version, they are working according to it, and once the work is completed and we combine it, so few people have worked on the previous version while few others have worked on the later version. So at the end, when you integrate them together, it will give an error. So configuration change management is when you're making a change, the others have to stop, and once you complete your change, you have to update it in the centralized repository so that everyone is aware that some changes have been made and they have to refer the latest version of the SRS document, right? So we have a process in place. We'll do this configuration management in detail in the 5th unit. As of now, just understand we have a process to make the changes, where the changes are made by some authentic users, right? Once the changes are approved by change control board, and others have to wait until unless the change is implemented and updated, and everyone then uses the new changed document, not the previous one, right? So that is a control changes to the software that is applicable in this model. So ultimately these are the 6 good practices. Always remember these. First is develop in iterations, manage the requirements since they keep on changing, use component based architecture, that is reusable components must be made, visually model your software, that means diagrammatic representations must be used, verify your quality, that means you have to verify all the quality standards are being implemented, and control changes to your software, it must be there. So all these good practices are present in this model, and it makes a good model to be used, and IBM still uses this model. So if you have any doubt, always open for that in the discussion class. Thank you all for today.